slowly it's coming together. It is still only April. Obviously, the union have been dealing with some, nagging injuries from different players that they're still working through. And so overall, to get a point on the road in Atlanta, not easy. Nobody's been able to do that this season so far. And Atlanta is a tough team to go up against because they are injury bitten, but they are still middle of the pack. Like you don't know what to expect from them. And so I'm excited that the union were able to at least, like, we saw them take hits and bounce back. Yeah. Again, that's something that really is important. That's down the stretch of the season will pay off. That how to. If it doesn't matter if you're down. There are some teams that statistically only win if they score first, or only win if like those types of things you can't have be your identity, because you never know what's going to happen in the game.
Yeah.
So to have 2 second half goals you give up, and you still are able to score quickly within minutes of each other, to put yourselves back in it, and then again to possibly take the lead, like that fight, that resilience is incredible, and it was encouraging to see. And then on to the controversy, starting with the second goal, Nate Harrell's throw-in, beautiful right-footed finish by Kai Wagner, in the right spot, able to finish the first time. Nothing you can do about that. But the throw-in by Nate was controversial because he did step on the pitch, and you're actually not supposed to be able to do that.
We actually, so Tyler, do you have that? So we actually have a picture. So of course,
show the footage.
Right in the midst of us going live, someone sent me an even better picture. But so if you guys can see here in this picture, Nathan Harriel, so his heel is touching the foot. Now I'm gonna pull up. So shouts to @slits _ 140. He did put he commented under Thomas Grommark's tweet there. And in this picture, you can clearly tell that the heel is on that line, and that is the rule states you can do that. The heel can be on. Thomas did tweet out the rule there. So if he stated it, if it's on the line, on the point of release, it's legal. What happens after the release doesn't matter. And yes, you can transfer the energy over the line. So that's from the throw-in expert, as they call him. He actually helped us out here in Philly with throw-ins with our team. So he called it legal. That's the only word that I really needed there. So the controversy, obviously, it's very, very close. And maybe if Nate's foot is just a smidge over, we're probably talking about a different outcome here. But yeah, it looks like it was a legal throw, Renee.
That's the thing. Like, you can't fully step on the field. You have to be touching part of the line, which even I didn't even know was part of the rule. But then on the other side, like, his other foot is dragging, because that's the other thing that people sometimes get caught on, of like, but you raise your foot. Once the ball's out of your hand, it doesn't matter. You can, I jokingly said this before the show, but you literally can throw it out of your hand and do a whole backflip if you wanted to. Like, nothing else matters at that point. If the ball's out of your hands, it's live, it's in the run of play. So he fully did the full extension, dragged the foot, stepped on the line with his heel. But I will say what's confusing about it is you don't see that often. Like, even I was like, what? And thanks to the expert, the throwing expert, even Thomas I learned something new. Had no idea. I had no idea. I thought you could, I remember hearing you can step on it with your toes, but I didn't know it could also be your heel. Like, any part of your foot can be on the line. Interesting. Learn something new every day.
I would love to be a throwing expert.
I would.
How do you get that job?
I was going to say, like, what does one do? Like, are you being brought in to only break down the throw-in?
I mean, like, listen, everything in sports is so analytical. I mean, you know that covering the Phillies. And so, like, especially like the union, they're trying to find every which way to kind of find an edge out on the pitch. Mm-hmm. I don't know where this guy, so obviously he helped Liverpool first. So I'm assuming he had to get gotten in with Jurgen Klopp at some point. And then obviously now that you work with Klopp, one of the best managers in the world, Klopp is probably telling the whole world about it, and Ernst, that German connection. So that's probably where it all came from. But it is interesting. This man is known as the football throw-in coach. It's right on his bio. Champions League and Premier League winner.
Sold.
So you probably got a ring from Liverpool with the
probably to be the throwing coach. Like, what?
That's awesome.
I want to be like the water bottle coach. I'll be like the water boy. I'll be that.
Oh wow! Now we have to create that meme, Tyler. Renee.
Renee is the water boy.
Will be me. But no, that was controversial. And then of course between the two, Nate's is clearly right and not being biased, but the offside call, in my opinion, was wrong. But the hard part is that there's not enough to fully overturn the initial call on the field. They're not going to change the call. I just feel like Ua was in an offside position before the ball was played, but then worked back on side because he actually was behind the defender, worked back on side as the ball was being played. And then, first of all, it was a beautiful play. Let's just take that moment to just say, like, wow, teamwork, combinations. Finally, I've been saying I want to see more goals in the run of play, not just on set pieces where they're combining. And we saw that this weekend. So yay, small victory. But I do feel like he reestablished himself on side. And I know people are saying, was it his shoulder? Was it his arm? Was it a foot? He looked fully on side to me. Like, I did the whole line across on my screen. He looked onside to me. But again, there wasn't enough to fully overturn it. So 2-2.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, the only real thing, we also do have this picture here as well. The only real thing that I would say is that shoulder. And I know it's a little bit tough here to see, guys, but so it's right in the center of the pitch. You see Uwaz, the lone Union player, and then there's the Atlanta defender right in front of him. I mean, yeah, we could do the line all we want. I guess we can grab a ruler, Renee, but like the only thing is like the shoulder. But yeah, it's not conclusive to say. I thought it should have been let go. You should have just allowed the goal to happen. But this is unfortunately what we have to deal with. You know, obviously the refs have had some very controversial calls since coming back from their lockout there, and this is again the Union getting bitten by that offsides. It's not as bad as the Cincinnati one where they didn't even go to it at all, but it's just rough to have a game, you know, kind of get determined by that. But you know, I mean, you're not gonna sit here, you watch me, you know, bitch and complain online about it like Atlanta, but you know.
Pow, shots fired. It just is, it's wild. The Union always find themselves in the midst of controversial VAR and calls by officials that are literally changing the outcome of the game. But I hope that what they're going to continue to preach is don't let it get to that point. But overall, it was, in my opinion, I feel like the original ruling on the field should have been a goal.